it going, everyone? Now, today we're going to be working on our Silver Strikes again, our bowling machine by IT, Incredible Technologies. This one's been really throwing fits here lately. You've seen the first one. We had a bad power supply in our computer. We got that up and going, and it was playing fine. I didn't care too much how the trackball felt, so we redid the trackball, got it all cleaned up and re-oiled, and now it was moving really well. And now I happened to be out in the arcade, you know, doing some stuff, and I started smelling something burning. And it wasn't wood. It was that distinct electrical smell of something that is not going well. So I started walking around sniffing all the backs of the machines like I was a dog trying to find the leader, until I found Silver Strike that kind of smelt a little weird. And I lifted up the control panel, and lo and behold, that's where it was coming from. So I shut her down. I started noticing that the screen was just kind of moving a little bit off center, but but that's all it was doing. But and then she started to stink. She was a stinking. And I'm a-thinking that it was a stinking. So I pulled the chassis out, and you can see we got a nice little hot spot right by Q19. Now, I don't know if Q19 took a dump or not. I just ordered a new one because I am going to change it no matter what. I don't care if it's bad or not. And if you turn this guy over to the back side where Q19 was, or is, let me get the old man light over it. We can magnify it. And you can see if it'll focus through a magnifying glass. There we go. Let me get a poker. And you can see that we burnt a trace right off the board, and this one was blistering. Let me get rid of the light and see if we can see if it gets any better. Yeah, you can see here's Q19 right here, these three, and you can see how it's charred around it. But I'm not sure if it was the Q19 that was heating up, or if we had a bad spot and just a hot spot on the board. And I took my little Dremel with a wire wheel on it and cleaned that up. And kind of, there, get over here. And got that all cleaned up. And like I said, as soon as I started cleaning it up, this trace here came right up and came off and disappeared. And you can hear that. That is not good. And charcoal or carbon is a conductor of electricity. So I don't know if this got hot and it started burning, and then we started chasing back and forth here and making contact, probably right off of Q19. It started cooking, and then with the carbon it made contact with this pin and the trace, and it started cooking there, and it just started cooking and cooking, and we got up under this one and the same thing. And let me get that. Gotta be careful with this board. And if you see, Q19 and Q18 are all part of the center, which means centering the screen on the monitor, centering the picture in the monitor. Knew I'd get that. So I ordered Q19, and just in case I ordered Q18. So we're gonna change them both just to be on the safe side. And over here we have to get the carbon out of it. What I'll do to isolate some of this is I will cut these traces back in here. Get to good board, and then I'll run a jumper wire. And I think in England they call them a budger wire. But we'll jump it so we can isolate, and once I get rid of Q19, we're going to test in between these posts and see if we have any conductivity. We may have to do something different with our Q19 to get it away from the carbon. But that's what I'm up to right at the moment. I am working on our board to get it put back together so we can get Silver Strike up and running again. Like I said, this one's been kind of a problem child, I think, ever since I've got it. It's just one of those. I recapped the monitor. When I got this in, the monitor chassis they have a bracket that goes under them. Let me back you off. So you have this bracket. It's kind of a plastic or a fiber, whatever material they used. And it was all busted up into like 8 pieces. And I sat down and I epoxied this whole thing back together. All this is for is to isolate the chassis from the metal pan that it sits on, you know, so it's not sitting right directly on metal. That's all that is kind of an isolation spacer. So that wasn't so bad. I didn't mind doing that. And then I recapped it, and lo and behold, we were up and running with this one. But, you know, it's been kind of a problem child. Every now and then it would throw a fit and wouldn't boot. And I'd have to, let's see what, oh, yeah, this one too. This one, I had to rebuild the, oh God, I hate doing that. I had to rebuild the video card in the computer. I think I told you that when we were working on that one. We put a power supply in this one. It's just been, like I said, just a little bit here, a little bit there. Every now and then it goes down, and then I gotta pull it apart and work on it some more and hopefully figure out what's going on. This chassis here is, it says on the back of the machine Wells Gardner, but this is a, let's see, October 13, 2006. This is a Makvision ink, manufactured exclusively for Makvision ink. This is a C2929D1, 30 to 50 kilohertz, 29-inch monitor. So I really kind of, you know, want to save this because from what I don't think it's a Wells Gardner, and not with that on it. So I think this chassis has been changed out, and they took the Wells Gardner out and put this in it. Which this monitor, this chassis works good when it's working. That's only when it's working. Has good color. It's stable. Doesn't get funky when you're bowling, you know, or when you're using the monitor. It doesn't want to flicker or anything like that. It's a good stable chassis. That's why I'm trying to save it. If you know, if it was kind of a crap chassis and didn't work very well, I'd probably get a universal and work on it that way. But we may have to do something in here once I get that pulled, that transistor out of there. Sounds like Kitty over there. Once I get this pulled out, we'll get this cleaned up and we'll do some measurements and see if our carbon is infiltrating all the way across. If I can get the carbon cleaned off of it and it hasn't burnt between the boards, or in the middle of the board, I'll be able to save that piece. If not, then we're going to have to do some creative soldering here and put the solder on this, or put the Q on this side and get back into our traces a little bit further and get away from this, get away from that carbon. Because if we don't, it's just going to happen again. It's just going to trickle across to one another. So I'm going to get busy. I'll probably get you set up, and we're going to get this desoldered out of there, and we'll start getting everything all cleaned up. We'll cut the traces back. I'll probably pull the traces right off the board, so there's no chance of anything going on. So let's see what we can do with this board or this chassis and see if we can save it. I got the board all cleaned up and got my jumpers put in. This top one, I need a poker. I'll use my tweezers. Okay. This top one, where you at? There you are. I didn't see anything, really detrimental up in there. I mean, the burn got close to it, but I don't know if it went under it or not. So I just pulled it and put a jumper in that one too, just to be on the safe side. These other two, you can see I started just kind of digging at it to see how far it went, and started just kind of cutting it out with my X-Acto knife, and until I kind of got back into some cleaner looking board material, but it's still, the charring goes pretty deep under the board. I'm hoping on our Q19 that the eyelets will insulate it from the carbon. And I got to looking at this, and this one, the center trace, was really easy to strip. You can see there's some other areas that the masking's coming off pretty easy. And I followed it back to this R60, come on camera, R68A, and it looked a little discolored. So I flipped the board over and got to looking. Knock everything over. And you can see there is R68A. It's a little Tootsie Roll, a little brown turd with legs on it sitting in there. So I'm kind of hoping that's, I traced it back to that resistor, that resistor just kind of gave up the ghost and started crapping out. Now that R19 is a 2SA 1273Y, and is it bad? I don't know. and I really didn't care. I'm just going to replace it. Problem is I hope you don't have to replace too many of them, because you can see what one costs, $10.95. You know, and it could very well be good, but I wasn't taking the chance. I was just going to put a new one in. The R18, or Q18, excuse me. Hey, the Q18, where are they at? They're hiding up in here. These ones weren't so bad. I think two of them were like, it was like 6 something. It's kind of a funky little transistor, as you can see. They're kind of a little long and narrow. I don't know what they're called. I'm sure somebody will know exactly what they are called and chime in and let us know. But from when a resistor fails, that's kind of odd, but you never know. You know, that could be our problem, or we could have something else that's bad on this. But we're going to replace that resistor, clean that all up. I'll put the new transistor in it, and then we'll be ready to put it in and test it out and see if we get another hot spot, and see if it quickly fries that resistor. It shouldn't take long, and it should fry that and start turning it black if we have something else downstream that's bad. But I'm thinking something happened in here, or the resistor went bad and just cooked the trace, and it started cooking the board. Could be. That trace also, let's see, runs up, it goes over and goes all the way up to this J166, which is part of the J166 is just a jumper. J166 is a jumper, and it goes into our flyback. Very interesting. We may have a flyback going bad, but it too good of a picture, and it's just operating too good to be a flyback going bad. And then the back side of this resistor, where's the R68A? There's R68A. Comes across. You can see it's even got it warmed, got the traces warmed up there, and that goes right over to these 3 pins. Doing a little detective work here, and that's a test point T5. This little block here goes into T5, which T5 is a little transformer, which could very well be that that resistor is supposed to kind of regulate the amount that goes through. Maybe, hopefully, because it did. Looks like the masking got warm in here too. Yeah, it goes over to that little transformer. Now, if that little transformer is putting out the right amount, and this resistor knocks it down, if you're letting it fly right through, it could heat up that whole area. Just a little detective work. That's just what I'm kind of gathering. I'm not saying that's exactly what had happened, but we'll find out more. I'll get all this replaced, and then we can, when we put it in and fire it up, and keep an eye on it and see what it does. And hopefully this takes care of it, and we'll get Silver Strike up and running again. Oh, and the other lighthouse, the one we completed. it went over to its new home today. And yes, I'm working on Zombie Revenge. I have started a video on it too. I've been kind of in a YouTube funk here lately and haven't been actually putting out a lot of content because it's just that after doing this for so long, I'm going on 3 years of being a creator, and you know, you don't get as far as what you'd like to. You kind of get into a funk and you just don't want to do anything for YouTube. But you guys leaving comments and all that, it really helps me out with likes, and you know, makes me feel like I am actually creating something somebody likes. So enough of the poor me syndrome. Let's get back to working on this chassis and get this ready to be put back in tomorrow. Alright, I'm done with my cobbling. I got that all, like I said, I got that all hacked in. Replaced the Q19 and the Q18. Probably both of those probably were okay, but I just figured there was a lot of heat on the Q19, and 18 was pretty close, so I just went ahead and changed them. Like I said, I didn't even test them or anything, I just changed them out. We changed out the R68A, which is, I didn't mention it in the first, in that last clip, that it is a 120K resistor. And there's the little Tootsie Roll. It came out pretty toasty. Hopefully that takes care of our problem with Silver Strike again. Yeah, I'll get it all put back on my beat up base, and I'll be ready to take it over tomorrow. Today's Tuesday, and the arcade's not open until tomorrow. But I did take Lighthouse over to its new home. So tomorrow, I'll get this put in, and we will check it out and see what we come up with. Hopefully this takes care of it. So the next time you see this, it will be going in Silver Strike. Okay, folks, we got the chassis put back in, and I am going to plug it up, and we are going to turn it on. It was already on. Okay, we got our light. And I'm off to the side here in case I need to run. I'm going to drop you guys and you're going to be on your own. And we're going to look for smoke. And smell for smoke. Look right down in there where our bad spot is. Hopefully you can see it. I can't see the neck because of the housing that's on the neck on this one, so I can't tell you if we have a neck glow or not. But I don't smell anything. I can smell some residual from when it burned up. But we didn't have any fire or anything. So let's go take a look. Oh, I know what's going on. Yeah, I know what's going on. Still flickering. Don't like that. I forgot to hook up our input. Ooh. And there is another ground that I didn't see. Or was that one always off? Because like I said, this used to have a Wells Gardner in it. Yes, my chassis is still loose. I'm going to set you down for a minute. There we go. I didn't tighten up that chassis because I want to make sure it's going to work first before I screw it down. Okay, now we got our input hooked up. Our VGA cable. I'm still gonna look. And do the sniff test, because I have a good breeze coming right up off our two fans here on our computer. Okay, now let's go take a look. See what I mean? It says this is a Wells digital monitor, and it's not. It has already been changed once before. And looky there. Oh, upside down. I got my, I gotta let this go all the way through and boot. I don't want to turn it off while it's trying to boot. It screws them up big time. And I can turn my headlamp off. But there's a 4-pin connector that reverts the screen. And I wasn't sure if it was on the back one or the front one. I put it on the back one because I was almost positive that's where it was, but this kind of inverts everything when it's like that. So I'll wait for this to boot up, and then I'll shut her down, and we'll flip that over to the other one, and we should be good to go. Good to go? Well, then go. Okay, I inverted the screen, and now we're all back up and running again. I love this machine. That's why I keep it going. I love playing Silver Strike bowling. You can see she's centered good, no flickering. Well, except for the line going through here. That's the refresh rate of the camera. But she's centered, and I don't have any little funny things going on. So I do believe we got her fixed. Again. I keep saying it because, like I said, ever since I got this one, it's been kind of a problem child, but I keep patching it back together and keep playing it. And keep it up and running. Now what I'll do is, since it's time for me to head out of here, I'll turn this on again tomorrow, and I do need to babysit it for a little bit, just to make sure she's not gonna start acting weird again. Tips, stats, and latest news, contest results. SilverStrikeBowling.com. But I do believe we got her patched back together. I got my hackery all done on the chassis, and now it's up and running again. And a little update on our tone board for our Dragon. Let me mute Ron from Joe's Classic Video Games. Okay, we still have no tones with Dragon. I I'm thinking, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change out these 555 timers, these three. That's what controls each one of the tones. And why I am going to do that is U4 on our U4 spider chip on our MPU is what controls these, and we may have well as blown a U4. Now, don't get excited. I do have extra U4s at home. But I want to exhaust this. You know, it'd be easy if I could check and see if I have a signal coming down to these. But, hey, this is funner. I like doing this more. I like changing out these little chips. But like I said, I do have some timers at home, some 555 timers, and I will change those three out and we'll try it again, and I'll give you the results in the next video as if it worked or if we're pulling it and changing out our U4. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This one was kind of just a conglomerate of different things that I've been doing and at different points since last week to this week, and I still don't smell anything. Let's take a sniff test. No, she's nice and clean. Now she just smells like an old musty arcade machine. You know, wish they'd bottle that up as cologne. I think that would be a big seller. So I really hope to see you on the next one. And if you like these types of videos, hey, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Hitting the like button and commenting helps the channel, shows the YouTube that I'm making content that people like to watch. So until next time, yeah, I'm not going to do any gameplay. Hey, you've seen enough of me playing this machine. See ya.